online. And dun, dun, dun. Alrighty. It's a little warmer here today. It's
Is it?
only -2, but
Honesty
it
is
feels
not honesty is not warm, is it?
it feels warm because going from -30 to -2 is like summer.
Well, I guess you have a point. Then aesthetics a lot. Do you spend a lot on bills, heating bills?
Yeah, it's seasonal. Yeah, it goes up. But then in the summer, it's the opposite. It's the air conditioner, right? So
Okay. Does it get really hot in the summer?
yeah, it's also the opposite. It goes like +30, right?
Okay. I
Or more.
think you get both extremes.
Yeah. But I'm a springtime and fall time. That those are my favorite times. I do love the summer.
Yeah. Mm,
I mean, I love all the seasons. Like I like to go skiing, I like to go biking, all that stuff, like outdoor activities. So
right.
I appreciate snow. I appreciate cold weather. Um, Different things to do, snowmobiling, whatever, right?
Mm.
ATVs.
I just love springs and summer.
Okay,
I don't like winter. It's too cold.
step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Too much to deal with.
Yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to the charts today. It's going to be fun. See here. Alrighty, they're getting there. There we go. Final one. All right, let me put on my mask here. Feel vulnerable. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to take up too much time or anything, but at the same time, I mean, nothing's changed. We're all powering through. Teams unlock, uh, coding, marketing, talking to partners and investors. We've got a lot of updates. You saw we posted a video. Well, I posted that video with the kind of the motivational one about setting goals. So uh, that's the voice of our AI financial assistant. So that's coming along. There's still a few things to kind of perfect, and I'm like, you know what, might as well just post something and kind of show it off a little bit. But we'll write that up in a community update. So when we hook up the mic to the chat feature, you'll be able to talk to her, and of course the other agents as well. They all have their own characters. They all have their own voices and have their own avatars. Some of the avatars are based on us. Um, some of them are more uh, creative. But yeah, it's things are coming along as planned. We've got the different APIs from the central banks hooked up. We've got the time series analysis, AI on the go that's being hooked up as well. So it's pretty neat. So we're almost at 60 hours of live sessions combined since January 1. So that's being accumulated by our AI is eating, so to speak, and it's eating every day. We're keeping it well fed and it's never hungry, never gets hungry. Um, but yeah, so the live session analysis is all a part of that uh, I guess ecosystem so that's really cool. It's essentially uh, calculating not just the time series, which is 80% plus accurate, but it's also applying like the human touch, right? So this is where things get more interesting. Of course, we're also adding the trade ideas, right? So every all the levels and trade ideas since 2016, and all of the newer ones since January 1 are getting accumulated there. Um, as part of that, let's say, combination of data that that you get access to as a holder, right? So I mean, essentially, it's like almost, I guess, it is an oracle in a sense. It doesn't skip over um, the critical facts, and it also allows for creativity. Like one of the things that I like to test is looking at futures. I'm a big fan of, I keep saying this, but I'm a big fan of potato futures, just for a bunch of different reasons. But I really love to look at things like silk, cotton, potatoes, just some of the more classic old-fashioned things that I I adopted from WD Gann and studying Gann cycles. So I like to look at that as a foundation. But what's interesting is you can ask it to start correlating things on some of these like more traditional pairs with some of the more neo pairs, right? So it's a lot of fun. It's also a lot of fun working on it, actually like hooking it up and seeing the results every time something gets connected. It gets pretty exciting. Um, my biggest anticipation is getting the portal, which you can see behind me here. Uh, so getting the agent uh, interacting in the with the portal components. And so, when you're looking something up, it's not just a terminal, but it interacts with all the components in the portal. Essentially, like if you're looking for information or some graphing, and we've shown you some of those graphs before with the curves for the tokens. So that's just a preview of some of the graphing techniques that we're applying. That's on the tokens, but also the graphing techniques essentially are borrowed from some of the most brilliant economists and financial analysts that have developed financial terminals throughout the years, and we're putting our own twist on it. Um, from quantitative analysis to uh, uh, quantum economics, essentially down the pipe. We've been looking at papers and some of the different techniques from various channels, like even some of the other projects out there, like Tchotchke, have contributed a fair amount of knowledge to how we're putting things together. And of course, the quantum algorithms and quantum adoption is one of my favorite parts about it. And you'll see that in some of the newer updates where we apply some of those theories on the like using different quantum gates and simulating that, um, which is cool because you could simulate it. You don't really need to run it on an actual physical environment. And yeah, just super excited to kind of like, we're like drip feeding it, and everything is coming together. We're chipping away bit by bit, day by day, and everyone's pretty excited. There's just so many things going on at the same time, and it's fun to manage, but it's also there's a lot of responsibility here, making sure that the system is safe and easy for everyone to use, making different videos and considering people from all different backgrounds and education levels. Of course, from beginners to intermediates to advanced, and then or ultra advanced, right? But yeah, that's I like a good challenge as part of what keeps me going and keeps me driven. And yeah, super excited to be working with everybody, and this team is absolutely amazing. IT, I'll stop chatting now, and I'll let you take over.
Cool, cool. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Let me check with the sound as I share my screen. Okay. Can you see?
Yeah, looks good. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. All right. Um, I think dollar index yesterday I was pointing to this small volume imbalance for us to reach for it and then maybe pause there and see what the rate announcement is going to do today. So I'm not gonna give much in terms of the majors because of the rate announcement coming in later at 7 p.m. today, because that can change everything, right? When it's rate announcement and FOMC, it can change the whole narrative about the market, right? So I don't like predicting price when we do have such news. NFP sometimes, yes, but rate announcement and CPI, I don't predict. I just wait for the market to come in and show me whatever it wants to do, and then I'll take it from there. So, because of that, I'm not going to tell you much about what's going to happen. From hindsight or just speculating perspective, maybe they might reject and go lower. That's from a speculation perspective. However, I could be wrong, and then they'll take it up above this high, which comes in at 108.58, right? That might be what price might do when the news comes out. Or probably they might do it before a rate announcement. So watch 108.50. That would be what I think price might go for. And if they do that, definitely you want to look at the majors. So starting with euro, I think euro are also pointing to this fair value gap that they can retrace to that and then potentially reject. So if anything, that would be where you want to trade to. If you want to gamble, if you really have to trade, that's where you want to trade to. Okay. When it comes to the British pound, this gap is all that I want them to trade to, because there's nothing below it. So if they are going to trade through it, then there's going to be a problem. And we also have a down candle here. Hence, this gap will be all that I requires. So watch, I think 1.24, this level right here. That's the middle of the gap, 1.24. Maybe pause in there. If we are to do anything crazy, then the low of the gap, which comes in at is it too loud for me? Okay. The low of the gap comes in at 1.237664. That's where, if they go crazy, that's where they might reject. But just below it, there's a gap. Now, when it comes to the gap, right? Sometimes they can trade through it, but not closing below it. And ICT calls it ICT calls it the wick does the damage, the body tells the story, right? So sometimes when it comes to the gaps, and I think you've seen examples of that on the Bitcoin or on the other pairs, where we have the gap, this gap here, right? Price has not closed through it, but the wicks has done a lot of damage, right? So sometimes they can wick through the gap, but ultimately rejecting it. So if I should zoom in, okay, this gap here, you can see it has multiples of wicks going through it. So that's what can happen. The wicks can go through it, but not close. So the wicks does the damage, the body tells the story. Okay, so the closing price tells the story, the wick will do the damage. Hence, below the gap, there is a gap here on the lower time frame. Hence, the wick can do the damage, but then the body would tell the story. So with the rate announcement, that's what I want to see. I want to see the wick doing the damage and then the body telling the story. So whatever happens, if we are going to stay bullish for let me draw it properly. If you are going to stay bullish till end of the week, then the wick will have to reject and then come back and close above the 1.2376 level. Okay, right, so that would be the British pound. Aussie, I also gave just below that level, right? And then in here, this shaded area, just below it is a last down candle prior to the move up. Oh, that's the previous week low. Okay. So just below the previous week low, okay, there is a down candle before this move up. Price never looked back. Watch that price level. It comes in at 0.61900. I don't know how far they're going to drop this session and New York session before the rate announcement, right? But if they don't get that far till the rate announcement, and watch this level, 0.6188 level, because I think something might happen. That's the only level, okay, within this down candle that's important, this level here. So within the down candle, this down candle prior to the move up, right here. If you watch, let me zoom in, this down candle, okay, the wick is this one. The rejection as it was going up created the auto block on the 1 hour time frame. So watch that, because if anything should be of importance when it comes to this down candle. It is just that. And like I said, I will talk about it in future because when you look at an auto block, when you look at a fair value gap on a higher time frame, there's always going to be a specific level that you are going to find on the lower time frame. You're not going to use the exact high time frame levels because the high time frame level is just as it is the high time frame, but the actual levels are within the lower time frame. And most of the time it correlates with time of the day, because the down candle on the daily, this is 24 hours, right? So the high of the candle will come in at a specific time. This high will come in at a specific time. This low will come in at a specific time. And then inside the candle, there will be specific time of the day that some things will happen, right? So if you happen to understand the actual levels that you're looking for, then you're going to be using time of the day. So you find a specific time within the day that something interesting happened, which is here, right? Something interesting happened during the during the New York session, and then price went up. And this is the only level that price didn't touch when it comes to this down candle. So that's the only level that is relevant. So as price is coming down, none of what you see here is relevant apart from this. That is why when the rate announcement is coming out, if they're going to manipulate, you might see an aggressive candle run down and then it will stop here, or it will just trade through it. If the dollar index will continue going higher, then it will trade through it. But if it doesn't and they manipulate, then it will stop right here, and then you will see a rejection. Okay. Let's look at the New Zealand. Now, if you want to trade, obviously you can look for sell. I think yesterday I talked about if you want to trade any pair, then sell these ones because they don't have any potential fair value gaps to stop them. Let's go to New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar has something similar. That level will be here. So the down candle on the daily, the actual level that you need to pay attention to is right here, which comes in at 0.56089, just below this low. Okay, there's an interesting level here, but again, because we have the rate announcement at 7 p.m. This one might just be a pause, and then they will trade through it. So we'll watch. Actually, let me see if I can find some trade idea for the New Zealand crosses for a scalp. Price might come for this low. This low here. Watch this low. I think it's already close to it, so there's no need. The reason why I'm saying that is when we do have a gap during a specific session, this green area, that's the New York session. Any gap that forms within the New York session, most of the time are very, very, very powerful. This one here, my pause price, and when it does, if dollar index continues going higher, the New Zealand pairs will gain some strength just for the time being. It's not going to hold forever. So maybe for the next 3-4 hours, New Zealand pairs will gain some strength. Hence, this pair will come for this low because it went up into a pullback and it's rejecting. So they might use that short time window where New Zealand gains strength to come and attack this low. All right, let me check New Zealand pound. Yeah, that also can reject that previous day's high and then trade. Let me check on the H4. Yeah, it can also reject and come back maybe to attack these lows because it's all clean. I don't like them. It might come back and attack all these lows. So as New Zealand drops into this gap here, where we almost get into, you can watch Euro New Zealand and Pound New Zealand for a potential trade idea to form on those two pairs. Okay, so that's a potential trade idea for you. Apart from that, let's go to gold. So gold, I really would want to see how the rate announcement is going to affect this. I want them to take it up and take out this equal high because it's too clean. Now, when price is approaching a high like that, and it gets very close and it rejects, most of the time it will run aggressively back up and take it out. This is based on some testing that I did in the past regarding how smart money again do their trading. They will engineer it because most traders will have this as their target. If you are a buyer, you definitely have this, especially when price is going very close to it. So what happens is they drop down and then take out anyone that was long and reject. So remember, yesterday I was talking about a rejection below this low. That is a run on anyone that is long in profit. And then they will come back and run it out. So with the rate announcement coming, I think they will take it up and clear out this equal high. I don't have a trade idea because we've already moved away from where it's possible to buy and maybe wait for a buying pattern to form. I'm going to the H4. So wait for them to come back above this down candle. If you go up, you'll come back above it, and then you can use the down candle as your protection, and then aim for that equal high. Okay, we've got about 31 minutes before the candle closes. Once it closes, then you can look for the next candle to come back up, close above it, and then run for that equal high. Okay. Crude oil still stuck in that OTE level. Nothing has really changed. So again, we are at a level that we are anticipating a reversal to come in. It hasn't come in yet, so sitting patiently, waiting for it. Maybe during the New York session. During the rate announcement, that is when you move this. At the same time, we have CAD, which is the Canadian dollar. There's a rate announcement at 3 p.m. my time, GMT. So be aware of it. Okay, it can affect crude oil, not so much, but sometimes it can affect crude oil. Okay, so watch crude oil and then the CAD pairs during the New York 3 p.m. because there is going to be a news event which is high impact. It's rate announcement on the Canadian dollar, and it looks like they want to reduce the rate announcement. They want to reduce the interest rate, from 3.25% to 3%. The current rate is 3.25 and the forecast is 3%. So if the forecast, I don't really follow it, but if the forecast ends up being the actual, then maybe CAD will either be strong or weak. I don't care. The only thing that I care is looking at the price action on the CAD futures. What is it going to do? Because that's sometimes the most important thing, not the figures that they're going to give. So if you look at the CAD futures, In future, I'll teach you how to use these features, currencies. Um, if you look at the card features, it's not doing anything, right? If anything should happen, then it should continue going lower to come and attack this low because it hasn't changed the market narrative. So if the numbers comes in at 3%, which is the forecast, it will go down. If it comes in as the same number that it is now, which is the current 3.25, it'll go down. It doesn't matter. Okay, so whatever the outcome is, still price looks like it's gonna go down. Okay, I'll be surprised if they take it up because from the high time frame perspective, they're still looking lower prices because it's weak. We have nice equal lows in here, this low and that low. I'm not suggesting they're gonna come for it, but it looks too clean. So, and we are very close to it. And we have a gap here. We've not created any gap to protect price from going lower. We have a gap to protect price from going higher. So when the rate announcement comes in, the only probability to happen is a big down move. Okay, so sometimes when we have such news, price action is what you need to watch. The numbers is going to be irrelevant. All right. If you were trading above this gap, then I would say whatever the news comes out, it's likely to go higher. All right. So that's that. So I don't know how it will affect crude oil, but it will. So just pay attention when it's 3 p.m. GMT. Okay. Now let me take you to ES because yesterday I had fun trading ES with my student. I remember I was talking about this down candle and price came in there on the lower time frame and I had a buy on the demo on the 15 minutes. Now when I think it was around 9 EST, I got stopped out, right? Price went down and took out all these lows. And I've always said it, right? That is why I don't like buying when it's like that, when it's too clean. Okay. Even though we had a down candle with a move up, it did have equal low. They came for it. So I was watching it as it did. And as soon as price rejected from the lower time frame, we started looking for the buy. So I'm going to show you exactly where I bought. The first one I bought got stopped out. Then I got in on the second one. So this is the first one. And then I got stopped out right here because my stop loss was below this candle's low. I got in here and then I got stopped out there. And then after it took out the low on the 1 minute chart, it broke market structure. The same thing, right? We're looking for the buy using the same thing. It doesn't change. So the last up candle, right to the move down, price breaks it right here. And then on the 1 minute chart, I bought that candle. And then price went higher to the target that I was expecting was this candle's low right here. Okay, that's where price was going when I initiated the buy, the first one that I bought. So when I got stopped out, all I did was just sit on my hands and wait for them to run the low because that's what they were going to do, and then patiently wait for the pattern to appear. Okay, that's why it's important first to know where price is going. That's the first key. When you know where price is going, that's all you need. The rest is just patiently waiting for a pattern to form. Right? When the pattern forms, then you get in. Now you have to choose which time frame you're going to be using. My student and I, we were just on the 1 minute because she loves trading the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute chart, right here, after we had the break, this candle closing above it, then buy that, and then price went all the way up to that level, and then basically got out, and then price never looked back. Okay, so I'm showing you again how you can use the entry that I've given, right? Waiting for that pattern to show up. If you have any idea where price is going, just wait for it. It will form. It's they cannot hide it. Okay, something that cannot be hidden, right? You can also see even on the M15 right here, this up candle before they move down, and then price reject, closing above this candle, the up candle right there. As soon as they close, same thing that I did here on the M15 right there, you get in, and then price never looks back. You can do the same thing on the hour if you want. On the hour, we have this up candle, all these down candles. This big candle goes up, closes above it, pulls back, same level, you buy it, you don't look back. All the way up to whatever time frame you want to use. All right, so that's how, when you, especially with the trade idea that I shared with Euro New Zealand, right? If you're expecting it to go and attack this low, the same thing, you can drop down to the 1 minute and find, if you're expecting it to go down, right? What would you want to see? You want to see a down candle, a move up, a rejection, you sell the pullback to that down candle, yeah, and then you don't look back and you attack where you want price to go. I think down here, yeah. Okay, so find where you expect price to go, and then use the pattern to get in. I think there was another idea that I shared yesterday on Euro Pound, right? I said the next target, or where price is going to reach for next, will be here, this gap. So look for a trade idea to go and attack it. I wanted them to pull back into this area, but it didn't. So on the lower time frame, same thing. You're gonna find a down candle, up movement, and then the break. Down, up, and then the break. Pull back, you sell, and then price never looks back. All the time. Very, very simple. All right. So find where price is going here. Find the pattern here, and then you sell, and then you get out. Okay. I think I've given enough when it comes to entry targeting. The most importantly is just understanding the higher time frame, and I think that is the key to everything, the big picture. And so when you start understanding the big picture, then you can use the big picture as your targets, and then you drop down to the lower time frame. Then you choose the kind of trader you want to be, and then you follow one pattern. As simple as that. You can also use OTE as a pattern for you to get in. Okay, just those two patterns will be enough for you to be, consistently looking for the same thing. All right, let's move on to the cryptos now. I think nothing has happened much. AI, yesterday we said that we want to see them actually attack this low. So if you're a trader, a day trader, look for a sell to continue going down to attack this low. And I think that is still the case. I think they will move one more time down to attack this low. Then you can start anticipating a rejection. So AI hasn't changed. since yesterday. I think we were having a session somewhere here, and then they printed 1, 2 down candles. So today, perfect. We open, we go up, then we want them to reject. We open, we go up, then we want them to reject. That's the manipulation, and then that's the distribution. That's the manipulation, that's the distribution. That is how every candle, if it's, algorithmic, that is how it's going to be. They open, then it goes up, then it goes down. They open, then it goes up, and it goes down. When they open and then just drop in, then it's in a hurry to do something. Like here. When they open and it drops, it's in a hurry to do something. They do that when it's approaching a key level. When it's approaching like you can see here, a weekly low, a monthly low, a weekly high, a monthly high. When price is approaching that, they will open and then run for it. And that's when you need to be careful, because when they open and it's running for it, in certain situations, that will be the manipulation, and then it will reverse as soon as it goes below it. In this case, that's not the case. We're not expecting a reversal. So this whole move is not a buy. It's just running to clean out this low. And most of the time, that is the type of candle that I say it needs to print when we are breaking a previous week high or a previous week low. So that's the aggressive run below the previous week low. So today I want to see a rejection and then a continuation to 0.5163 as the downside objective on AI. Then from here, that's when I want to start seeing buyers coming, right? So below this low, we're going to start looking for a buy pattern. You can even start looking for the idea that I just shared with you on the Euro Pound and the SP 500, ES 500. You can start looking for that buy pattern on the lower time frame in here, because you might be lucky to buy maybe for a scalp, and then that scalp might turn into a swing trade. That's how crazy it can get. If you can get the actual level in terms of a dealing range on the high time frame, say price is trading from here, broke a high, price is coming back down into a pullback below 50%, there's a fair value gap, price trades there. And here, if you can drop down to maybe a 5 minute or even a 1 minute, and you can see the buy pattern, okay, and then you get in, let's say you're in as a scalp, that scalp can end up being a swing trade, okay, because that's exactly where price is going to reverse to. And I've got some of that every now and then, once in a while, these kind of trades where you get in with a very, very low risk and the price runs away. Okay, so you might be lucky if you get something below this, right? And if it's going to do, you will see it, because the pattern will always be there. So on the H4, the movement up, as you currently see, might be the up movement, just like it did here, and then the aggressive move down. When the aggressive move down is ending, which is either 3 or 4 down candles, the last one, when you count them, the last one, that's when you start dropping into the lower time frame. You start looking for 1 minute potential buy idea. Okay. I just showed you an example on ES 100. You drop down. If you know that's where it's going to reverse, drop down, start monitoring it, because that's what will lead to the higher time frame reversal. So if I come back here, this 1 minute reversal is what led to a H4 big rejection, right? So if I was buying, or not if, I bought down here, buying down here with a stop loss below that and expecting price to reach for that, okay, you're gonna get more risk to reward rather than waiting for a, let's say, 15 minutes, because the 15 minutes risk reward will be different from the 1 minute. Imagine if you had seconds and then you understand what I'm showing you and you find the key level price is going to reverse from. You drop down to the seconds, it's going to be there as well. Price cannot reverse without actually doing that pattern. It will 80 to 90% of the time will do it. It will rarely reverse without actually doing it. Okay. So yeah, watch below 0.51634 and then see what will happen when we get there. Solana. Okay, so yesterday I was expecting them to close above this and it didn't. Hence, we got a down candle. Now that will change the narrative for me, right? Because the fact that they took out that previous day high and rejected means today there needs to be a run on a previous day's low. So as it stands, looks like price will go for this low. Price will go for this low and potentially that one, right? But I don't want to see the day close bearish. The fact that this did not close below this, it's an opportunity. Okay, it's a rare, sometimes doesn't happen often. They will have to come all the way back up to close above this down candle today. So if we are to go higher today, I want to see the candle do this, take out the low, I don't know why this candle is not showing. There we go. That's how I want to see today's candle, and then go all the way up and close above it. As long as this gap, this one here, still open, I'm looking for higher prices. All of this is nothing to me, okay? Because from the weekly perspective, we are just taking out a previous week low into a down candle, and then we go up. Remember, the big picture tells the story. It's not the lower time frame. So if we remain bullish as long as this is open, right? All prices done. All prices done was just to come back and touch this candle's high, and you can see here, that's the pattern that I was talking about yesterday. If the candle takes out the high, right, then we need to take out a low. This one is a down candle. It took out this high, took out this low. This candle is supposed to continue going lower. It rejects and comes all the way up and close. So this is an engulfing. Very, very powerful reversal pattern. So whatever happens, we need to go higher. Okay, this is just an inside candle. It's normal for them to come for the low and then reject. So we need a daily, just one day candle to go and close bullish above a previous day. Then we are good to go higher. Until you see that, don't do anything. Okay? Until you see a down candle closing, or let me put it this way, until you see, watch the closing price. Price closes here. Price closes here. Okay? Then price closes here. So look at the closing price. 240, 234, 226. It keeps closing lower. We want a close to be higher than the previous one. So preferably close above the previous candle's high. But if we can close above 226, that would be good. But preferably go all the way up, because if they can close above the high or even the opening, this one. So the algorithm, I believe there is an algorithm. That's all it's tracking. It's tracking the open, the high, the low, and the close. Those 3 points. So anytime it opens, when we open here, price will look back. it's going to look back and check. Okay, did we close bearish the previous candle? Yes. So what is it going to do? Likely going to close bearish. Why? Because the opening is up here, the close is down here, so that's a down candle. It's a bearish candle, so the next candle is likely to do the same thing. Then the next one opens, checks, did we close bearish? Yes. Where is the opening? Here, 240. Where is the close? Here, 234. Is that an up candle? No, it's a down candle. Cool. Then today, likely to be a down candle. But it could have been an up candle. Why? Because when the day is trading, you don't know which side is going to close. So we open here, we went all the way up. But since it was still trading, that's why it's important that you wait for the day to close before you make any decision. Okay, you wait for the day to close. That's why I emphasize on the daily closure, because when the day is closed, then a new candle is going to form. That is when the new candle will make reference to what has happened in the past, which is the previous day. Right? And you can apply it on the lower time frame, but I don't do that. It's on the daily, weekly, and monthly. That's when you want to apply these ideas or this concept. So today, looking at how yesterday traded, what is likely to happen? A down candle. Why? Because we opened here. This is where the market opened. Looking back, where is the opening price of yesterday's candle? It's at 234. Where is the closing price? It's at 227. That is a down candle. So what's today likely to be? A down candle. However, based on what we are looking for, we can anticipate the up candle. We don't buy it, we wait. And then when it gives us the up candle, that is when we change. And that's what we call the change in the state of delivery. That's when the change of price action moving down will change to moving up. So that's why I'm looking for either a close above the opening price yesterday, or better still, a close above the previous day's high. Because if they can close above the previous day's high, that's when it will activate this candle as a green candle. Okay, so hopefully I've given you why I'm looking for what I'm looking for. Same thing applies to Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk much. I've given everything on the Solana. Same thing applies to Bitcoin. That's why yesterday I was saying I want to see we close above the previous day's high. So that still stands. So you can see my line here. We are likely to go to attack this low. If we don't close bullish today, we are likely to attack this low. So from a trading perspective, today, if you want to trade, then you can look for a sell to go and attack previous day. So that will be the best thing. But since I'm looking for higher prices, I'm sitting on my hands and waiting. But if you want to trade a day trade, then you can look for a sell to attack the previous day's low. Okay. Ethereum is mad. Let's leave that alone. If you want to trade, the same concept applies. I think I pretty much said, and unlike this one. Okay. So they can go for it. And then we can look for a reversal. So Ethereum, I would say stay away. Better still, you can trade Solana and Bitcoin for the previous day's low, but stay away from this because I don't like the way it's moving. It's just not too good. Hype, same thing. Stay away from where we are. I think yesterday I explained why it's in a consolidation. If you try to trade anywhere, you might get, beaten up. I've given you where you want to do trading, either up here or down here. That would be the best areas to look for trade ideas. Anywhere in between, you're likely gonna suffer. So look for sell up here, a sell pattern, and then look for a buy pattern in here. Ripple, same thing. Nothing has really changed. Now let me show you. Look at why is Ripple a little bit different. Look at how this day closed, and then look at how it opened. So when yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, this was Monday. When Monday closed, why do you think the candle yesterday went up aggressively? It's because if you look at algorithmically, price closed bullish, not above previous day closing price or the high, but it closed relative to the previous day higher. So this is the closing price. This is the closing price. Right there and then, there's a small shift, not a big one. It's a small one. So when you're looking at price, you want it to shift the closing or the opening or the high. The fact that it didn't close bearish is what led price potentially going up, but it does not mean it's going to go up. This candle had to close above here or there because price will still make reference to this down candle because that's the last down candle. This is not down candle. This would be the last one. So it will still make reference to this candle, the closing, the opening and the high. When you're expecting it to go down, it will be the opposite. So you'll be using the opening and the low. When you're expecting it to reverse, that's what you'll be doing. So once we close below that last up candle, price did not look back. Why? Because that would change the delivery from going up to down. Okay, so today, looking at how this candle closed, it's not ideal to even trade today if you want to trade because that's a doji candle. It can do anything today and still potentially, I don't think it will go all the way down because that week is a big rejection. So maximum it can trade back into the candle that I spoke about, this one here, this candle. It can trade inside it because it's a special candle and then reject. So maybe they can take out this low, which comes in at 3.0062. They can take that one out and then reject. So watch that. 3.0062. You can take that. This candle is special. So they can take it, still stay in there, and then reject and come back up again. All right? So be mindful. Maybe at 7 p.m. when the rate announcement comes out, we're gonna get a big candle, maybe up or down. I don't know. I don't know how much the rate announcement can affect the crypto market. I've not actually studied it before. So maybe today I'll find out if the rate announcement does actually affect the cryptocurrencies. Okay. I've never looked at that correlation, how interest rate affect, because I never checked. I've only started doing it this month, in-depth analysis on cryptos. And since the January, this is the first time we have a rate announcement. So we will see. And then going forward, next time I'll be able to tell you if it's going to affect it or not. And then lastly, leave always the best for the last. That's all.
That's all.
I think, nothing has happened much, but it's heading for the level, right? It's gradually heading for that level. So I'm not going to say much about it. That level is still the target. So if you day trade, look for that continuation to 0.0082. And then below that, you can start looking for some big whales to come in to scoop all this discount because it's too cheap. Okay. And you can also look for a buy pattern down here because it's too clean. If they are going to buy, it's not going to hide. You will see it. You can start seeing it from the H4. Once you see an up candle and then a big down candle forming, then you think, maybe it's time. They might print one more, or they'll use just one or two to come and attack it. Once they attack it, start looking from the 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, and then start looking for a buy pattern to form. And you look, and then you reject and get a very, very cheap price. Fingers crossed, it will go all the way up and you'll be the first person in. All right. So that is that from me. Um, I'll let Igor come in. Anything from you, Mr. Igor? Mr. Igor?
Oh, sorry, I thought I had my microphone on. I've been talking this whole time. My apologies. Yeah, no,
That's all right.
I was just watching the gold charts, just analyzing it earlier today as well, and looking at the daily pattern. Um, I thought it's pretty interesting about how it's slowing down, but um, yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I was just like gonna go off on a tangent and realize that there's like SPDOS is coming up in about 30 minutes, and I do have a couple of quick meetings to do with some of the developer team
Mm-hmm.
before that happens, just to make sure everything's going smoothly.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, beautiful session. I'm listening in, taking notes.
Yeah. Just before we go, watch this area here on ES because I would want to see if you look at yesterday's candle, right? Um, it came to OTE, right? Here. This is OTE. This low to the side, back to OTE. So I'm expecting them to go and make a new high. That's basically the expectation. The only problem we have now is just that we have a volume imbalance. However, if we are just tracking it on the H4, remember we want gaps to hold. We have a down candle here. This has pulled back into it. So same thing that happened yesterday, it can happen today. So start watching it from the 1 hour time frame because that's the up candle, that's the move down. So then we can drop down on the 15 minutes. You can see they have printed this. Now on the 15 minutes, if it's going to go up on the 5 minutes, it should show you a pattern that they are going up. It's not shown on the 5 minutes. So wait, let them show it to you. I don't think the 5 minutes has shown enough because this is all just wicks. So maybe they might do one more run, break, and then move up. You can get a nice trade. I like the fact they've left these clinical highs to clean, so they will come back for it. So this New York session, sometimes it can happen during the green area, sometimes it will happen in the pink area. It is this one, right? So wait patiently, and in that pink area, which is a time zone, that's landing close in here. Okay, you want to see them run more time, reject, and then buy, go and attack that. That's it.
Some
I'm
Thanks so
done.
much, IT. Oh, always a pleasure. And yeah. Oh, do you mind blowing up the camera for a second?
Yep, sure.
Cool, thank you.
Uh,
Blow it up.
blow it up.
Um, yeah, you know what? If you're here watching and you're finding value in these sessions, we would appreciate if you gave us a like, repost it, so your trader friends can also take advantage of the knowledge. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we appreciate you. Looking forward to the next session with SP DOS for New York Part 2, and then Sydney, Tokyo in a few hours from now. I believe it's about 10 hours or so. And maybe my math is off. Anyways, And yeah, so please give us a like, give us a repost, and we're starting all over again with Sydney, Tokyo, London, and New York twice tomorrow. So yeah, make sure to tune in, and we'll be here for you. IT, as always, very humbled by your expertise, experience, research. Thanks very much.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll just be watching the rate announcement by myself, and then tomorrow we'll update you on the outcome. But just be aware that the rate announcement is at 7 p.m. GMT.
Cool.
Take care.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Well, thank you. Be signing off.